Welcome to Inspiring Teachers, a show bringing you classroom tips, motivation, and stories from successful educators. Join Tavis Bean and Danny Hauger as they explore the why of teaching.
And Danny Hauger here for Inspiring Teachers number 136. Woof, man, the year is like 5 weeks away from being completed, and what a wild one, right? Teaching in the last 2 years has been unlike any other decade in our lifetime. Not ever, but certainly very strange and different for a lot of us. Hey, I hope you're doing really well. I'm Danny Hauger. I'm here each and every week offering you teacher toolkits and additions therein. Also, I don't teach English because that structure, tense, grammar, all of that was all over the place. It's a pleasure to be with you. Our show is brought to you in part with support graciously from AmpedUpLearning.com. They have amazing teacher-created resources and are a two-teacher-owned business. So you're helping teachers support their lesson creativity, posting wonderful lessons, and you can shop there and buy things that will make your classroom even more excellent than it already is. You can use promo code HaugerHistory10 to save 10%, and you can find resources for math, science, social studies, English, things to get students out of their seats, or even resources to use in hybrid or distance learning. It's all there, and they also have a ton of cool giveaways on their social media channels at AmpedUpLearning. So check them out all over the web. They're doing amazing things and helping teachers support their students with very reasonable prices, and when you buy there, you're actually helping support teachers all over the place, so it's a wonderful thing. The Hauger History Store also has some of my favorite and best resources, so that's ampeduplearning.com. Let's get into today's show. Wow. Teaching has been phenomenally different, and I've been adapting to a hybrid learning environment now for about 3 weeks, and it's as good as it can be. There are some limitations, but I have a positive attitude in asking my students to do the same, having fun with them while teaching some very difficult subjects like the Cold War and World War II, checking in with students every day to make sure their social, emotional needs are being met, trying to be creative and find fun ways to do things. In fact, making a trailer right now with different teachers on campus, each poising a different model of education for high school. That some teachers are advocating that we average all students' grades, and it's a model of socialism or communism and what good or bad could come from that. And so we're making a trailer where I'm portraying characters as kind of like a propaganda piece for and against some of the teachers to see what students will think and what conversations can come from that. You know, we can use the extra time we have to creatively prep out-of-the-box ideas like that I think can be exceptional. That's not what I wanted to talk about today. Last week we talked about oral heritage presentations and having students interview family members and learning from each other and where we've come from and where we respect each other's past. It's a phenomenal activity. Go back and listen to that one if you didn't. And I was thinking about some other ideas that have been, really effective or really creative for me. Right now, I think a daily journal is great. At Hauger History on ampeduplearning.com, you can find my daily journals, which have historical topics tied to them, so you can learn extra bits, even if you're not in social studies. So right now, I'm doing a couple creative things. I'm just going to throw them at you and see if you can do something like this. Debates, I think, are wonderful during this time and can work really well with Zoom. I find that being able to mute and listen to one person at a time and then having someone else speak and respond with enough prep time ahead of time is a really good way for students to interact with each other and get some valuable speaking, listening, argumentation skills. You can go over the rhetorical triangle, ethos, pathos, and logos, and talk about what makes a good speech. You could play examples through videos as well. That's something I think can be done in just about every subject matter, from science to English, even to art and interpretation. There. I think that's a wonderful thing to do right now. I also really like having students present as much as possible during this time so they can practice their social abilities, communication skills, get feedback from each other. I have students give each other a compliment sandwich when they're reviewing and listening to student presentations. So what is one thing you really liked? What's one thing you could work on? And then what the best part of the presentation was. So you get 2 positives and 1 constructive that then the speaker can get back anonymously and get some feedback on what they're doing. And in class on Thursday, I had a student tell another student that they really liked their oral history presentation and that they really liked the way they speak, that put them at ease. The speaker heard this and then said, I hadn't had a very good day, and that really just made my day and really made me smile. And it made all of us kind of go like, aw, we're in high school. We still need to take care of each other's emotions, support each other, make each other feel that comfort and feel welcome to speak. So that was a beautiful day and a beautiful moment. I think that can be really a worthwhile thing for all of us. So that's one thing maybe you can try doing. Either the compliment sandwich, the debate, the impromptu speaking, the daily journals. All of those things are just enhancements and can take less than 5 to 10 minutes a period. You can still get the core of what you need done and completed. The spring is also a great time to have students present a chapter in groups of 3s or 4s. Give them a rubric or an example. By this point, they've been with you for 7-8 months. They should know what your lessons look like. Is there ever a time where they've complained or been bored or thought they could do it better? Wonderful. Give them a shot at it. Lay out the requirements, the time, the format, the structure. You know, I don't know why teachers don't more often give a template presentation to switch out information out of. That way it's already created. They just need to swap out the pertinent, relevant parts to their lesson. I think students enjoy hearing from different voices for an extended period of time, and it can give them the break if they are bored of your voice, and hopefully they're not. But I always think it's helpful, and then you get to sit back and then play the complementary role of the student and support them as they support each other. That's a wonderful thing. So I think that can also be really useful at this time of the year. You can see that I'm in deep thought. I'm reflecting on some of the things that have gone really well the last month that sometimes you don't take stock of during the class because you're so busy managing the attendance, the in-person, the material, the clock. And it's cool to just kind of look back and see how well things have been going for the last 3 weeks. While imperfection is always going to be the case, making the best of what we have can be really great. So is there something you can do to collaborate with the teacher outside your box? I think students I always loved seeing 2 different teachers in my classroom. Like, what? You have real life feelings outside of this room? Show them a third dimension. Break out the fourth wall and show them something new. So the reason I bring this up now in mid-April is it's the perfect time to start something that you might want to repeat year after year. And it's a great time to gamble with a new lesson idea. And if it flops, then you're right back on pace for where you were. But something new tried now is a benefit is that you've already got the class relationship and system worked up, and they could easily try to be flexible at this point. Whereas trying something new and then turning left or right 3 or 4 times can give the feeling of inconsistency that is not always great in a classroom environment. So those are kind of my thoughts and reflections at this point, kind of no fluff, just reviewing all of that's happening. I bring in some old trophies from the garage, bowling trophies, and put like foil and tape over the front and made them debate trophies too. So I'm actually going to give those out. And I love the look on a student's face where it's like, what? What is this? They're holding it up like this. Mr. Hauger, there's like a bowling guy on top. I'm like, because you bowled over the competition with your argumentation. Silliness is everything. I feel like to make a smile, to make a joke or a laugh. And it's all right, too, to try and then not have it pan out. That can end up being funny, too, as long as you take it in stride and just roll with it. With this year of wild fluctuations, I feel like the serious structure of a class can be helpful. At the same time, being just as fluid as an instructor with respect to students and respect to self can be a really, really great, refreshing quality at this point of the year. And I think that's what I start to do in April, May is what can I do to still be fun, fresh, and tell stories they haven't heard by this point of the year that can get them equally as engaged as ever in learning material. So that's my challenge for you this week. What is something that you can do? Put it in the comment box if you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen and share it with the teacher you love. You know, this show needs to keep growing. And we're grateful for you for listening, AmpedUpLearning.com for supporting us, and hoping that there may be a few dozen people who are really taking the show to heart and it's helping them prep for the room. I appreciate you very much. I'd also love it if you subscribe to my Danny Hauger YouTube channel, checked out my music, or Pandora or Spotify. Until next week, I'm going to have a very specific another new assignment for you next week that we're already working on. So until that time, have yourselves a wonderful week. Be good, be well, be safe, be kind, and have your students do the same. And we'll see you next time. All right, everybody, be well. Class is dismissed.